Alright, Gorilla 47 here, ASP Tactical with John again. He's going to go over on some weaponry of both German and Soviet during World War II. So, started off, which rifle do you have?
Okay, I'll start off with the... This is a K93. This was Germany's attempt to make a semi-automatic rifle in comparison to the M1 Garand. It held 10 rounds of ammunition in a clip.
Or magazine.
Right here. That held 10.
So 10 round box magazine.
Well, this one's set up. This one's actually made by Walther. And the only problem that I have with this gun is that the Germans in the cold weather fighting the Russians, it had so many parts that were temperamental to cold variances that the guns would jam. But otherwise, it was a fairly good gun. Oh, it's raining.
And it has the scope.
And this one's set up as a sniper rifle. This is a ZF4 scope. And it's set up for fine adjustments of adjustment. And if I could get this off. The gun cocks like this.
Okay.
That's it in its locked position with the chamber open.
Okay.
Then we actually, if you want to close it, you have to depress because there's no ammo in it. Depress the follower, let that slam forward. But the guns were susceptible to dirt, and it wasn't really good on the Eastern Front. So you could do your own observations about if people liked this or they didn't like it. Next German rifle we can look at is the K98 Mauser. This one's set up with a scope. This one's made by DOT, 1943. This is one of the later ones. People would say that the later Mausers weren't produced with the manufacturing techniques that were supposed to be really good, but
so basically fine quality.
Yeah, the quality was diminishing at that point, but I never had a problem with it. And this is a ZF41 scope, and for the most part they were using kind of like squads as a means of enhancing the like the sharpshooter's ability to take out targets. But that was basically, there's another type of scope that I don't have one of those here. But
so this is almost like a sniper's variant, but not much of a sniper's variant.
Correct.
Okay.
You look at it?
Yeah, you have 234.
All right.
Down the road, what's next?
If we're coming, it's all Russian and German World War II here. Most of
This is a German MP40. They fired from 32 round magazines. They fired from an open bolt.
9mm, correct?
9mm. Cycling rate about 650, 700 rounds per minute. And this thing was basically called a pistol by the Germans.
Machine pistol.
Machine pistole. Okay, now the Soviet end.
Is that an original MP40?
Mosin Nagant.
Mosin Nagant 9130. It's a model of 91, type 1930.
Okay.
It uses a scope called a PU scope.
And this is the sniper's variant.
This is a sniper rifle that was used way into the Vietnamese used these, the Soviet used these, and still a bunch of countries still use this type of rifle. It has a 5-round internal
yeah.
magazine in case the bullets jammed up. It had this special little abilities where you could actually dump all the rounds out of the gun.
Now there's a difference from what I can see on the Mosin Nagant. The lever here, this one is...
It's bent bolt.
Bent.
The bolt is bent because if it was straight, you'd be hitting the scope. The bolt is bent so that it would actually clear the scope mount to fire it. And we have another one up there that we're going to be looking at.
Now this is
a normal one.
That's a standard.
This is a standard. You see how the bolt's not bent?
Yeah.
So if the scope was there, you wouldn't actually be able to open up the bolt.
Okay.
They used a 7.62 by 5.4 Russian round. It's 7.62, basically 30 caliber.
Yeah.
That was the mainstay of the Russian army. Now we also had other variants that they had. It was a Type 44. Same thing, same principle, but it was basically used for tankers, Soviet cavalry.
And this has a bayonet.
And a cruciform type bayonet, which basically in my point of view is useless.
Why do you say that?
Because it throws the accuracy off. Now, people tell me that the guns were sighted in, but the bayonets locked in. So if you didn't have your bayonet locked in this position, the gun would actually fire off zero.
Okay. So the bayonet does play a different
role into firing this.
In terms of accuracy.
Correct.
Okay.
Take care.
Good to see you.
Now, the Soviets have a nice semi-automatic called the SVT-40.
SVT-40, all right.
It has a 10-round box magazine. This one's set up as a sniper rifle, and they didn't run into the problems that the Germans ran into with the gas system.
Yeah.
Germans have a very complicated gas system where the Soviets made a very simple gas system. It's a piston, but the tolerances are real loose with this, so they didn't have the problems with getting dirt and stuff in here. So actually, they could have a lot of play in this gun. This gun will still fire, and they didn't have the problems. And the Germans, if they could get their hands on one of these, they would use these instead of their own weapons.
Oh, okay.
There's plenty of pictures to document Germans using this type of weapon during World War II.
So using captured weapons, that is.
Exactly.
All right.
I don't know these guns. These are John's.
Okay, we have a...
And what is this?
This is an MG-34. It was all made out of machine parts. It was costly to make. It took a lot of time to make. When they went to the MG-42, they cut their machining time in half.
Okay.
So they could actually produce about 3 MG-42s to the time it took to produce one of these.
All World War II.
Now what's the difference in, you could say, quality?
Quality, the MG-34 was a lot better. but it needed a lot of maintenance to maintain. A lot of parts wore out. The tolerances, the German always had tolerances that were very, very tight.
And this is set up as an anti-aircraft gun.
Right now it is.
Nice. And how much? How many rounds in the
Most of it's original.
magazine?
These would hold 75 rounds in the drum.
Okay.
Some of them held 55. These are the later models. They held 75.
Okay. Nice.
It's a grease gun, actually.
And the Germans had their own form of anti-tank bazooka.
That's the Panzerfaust.
The Panzerfaust. That's a 60 millimeter.
Wow. That's basically an early RPG right there.
Correct.
Yeah, well.
Okay.
Uses a shape charge. These, no problem taking out the Shermans. And it didn't take a person a long time to learn how to use these. You could have a child learn how to use this and take out a tank.
You can demonstrate?
And the rounds get taken out of here. They start from here. Then when the round is fired, they actually drop out the bottom
Instead of on the side.
instead of on the side, like the Americans. Out of the bottom, they would come right out through the bottom. There's a little door, but it's in the open position. Because when you open it up, this thing automatically flips down.
Okay.
But this gun is made to be modular. This gun can be taken apart into its smallest little parts.
They had them everywhere.
Sweet.
Even mounted on side cars, on motorcycles.
They had these guns mounted on everything, from motorcycles with sidecars to little Kubel wagons to U-boats. These guns were everywhere.